Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Tonight's video is going to be referencing something that we've been talking about recently quite a lot on the channel, which is AI, but also what people have been asking me through emails and comments where they've made their own creations and they might have put their lyrical content into the AI model. They might even have put a demo of a song into an AI model and want my view of it, or my opinion of what they've done and whether it still counts as their creation. So I am going to be talking about that. Just to mention, before making this video, I've seen that Warner Brothers have settled with Suno in their court case. And I did a video on Universal Music Group and Udio, or Udio, however you want to pronounce it. So it seems like things are starting to maybe turn around, and the AI companies are now being held to account for the copyrighted material that they've been feeding into their AI models. And on that video that I made just showing the process, how their product is entirely reliant on copyrighted material that they didn't have permission to put into the AI model to then get a product from. The only reason they can make the product is because of the copyrighted material that they didn't have consent to use to train their model on. So it seems like maybe what I've been saying and what a lot of other creators and musicians have been saying is starting to have an effect that we're now questioning. And I think it's right that everybody questions how this has come about. Like, how is it giving this result? And there's only one answer to that, is that very talented musicians and artists have had their music fed into an AI model so that the product it can produce is very impressive because it's using that initial talent that isn't being compensated. But what I'm going to be doing tonight is taking a look at a video from another channel, and this is from Jamie Applin. And Jamie uses AI, and he had a demo of a song, and I just happened to see this video and I thought it was really interesting because it's a great way for me to answer a lot of questions that I get about AI and my view of it in the songwriting process as a musician and songwriter myself. So I'm going to be referring to one of his videos and just taking a screenshot from another video, but I did message Jamie and asked him whether I could use his video or not in this video, and he said that's fine, which is great. So as always, the link to the video that I'm featuring here will be in the description below, so you guys can go and check out Jamie's channel. And Jamie uses AI as part of his workflow and even has a tutorial on using Suno. So with the video that I'm going to be looking at here, I think it's convenient for all of the questions that I've been asked about AI just to take little parts of his video. Obviously, I'm not going to play the whole thing through. You can go to Jamie's channel to watch that. But I also think it's important to look at everybody's point of view, because what I do is objective on my channel, and I don't have anything against people that use AI or use AI as part of their workflow musically. The issue that I have with it is with the developers. So we're going to start out just by listening to Jamie's demo and just a section of it so you can get a kind of vibe for what it was like.
Since they're from away, they'll never know what makes us Mainers. Lost track of the day at Old Port, tasting all the flavors. Hike up by the bay and catch a show at Main State Pier. So
you can see that it really is just a guitar and a voice. It isn't really a fully fledged demo of having the song, everything in place and just, roughly recorded. We've just got what is an idea for a song, a progression and a melody. I'm just going to move it on. Now, the reason that I've run it through the pitch monitoring software is because we're going to be looking at the vocal and look at that after the AI generation of this demo. AI effectively taking this demo and then making it into a fully fledged song. So as we go through, the vocals here in the original demo are heavily tuned, but that's just the sound. That's just the sound of the demo. So I'm going to move it forward a bit.
Sunsets over Casco, just like we were kids. The music's taking me back now. The memories go on and on and on and on. The soundtrack to feeling alive.
Okay, yeah, so we've got a harmony line in there with the vocal, and the guitar's a little bit more distorted now. Probably got a couple of guitars in there, the original clean one, and then the more distorted guitar higher in the mix to get that change from verse to chorus. So now let's have a listen to the AI creation, what it made from that demo. I mean, immediately we've now got a riff at the beginning of the song, which is taking the melody of the vocal. So that wasn't originally in there, I don't believe. Let's just have a listen to the original.
Since they're from away, they'll...
No, it just goes straight into the song. So that first part is all a new creation that AI's put in there. Again, exactly the same thing here. We've now got octaves that's been put in there by AI. And we've got this lead line that's ending on a kind of wide vibrato as well, which wasn't in the original. I mean, when I say it wasn't in the original, we can say that the bass wasn't in the original demo, that the drums weren't in the original demo. These guitars that we've just heard, they weren't in the original demo. The original demo was just some chunky guitar.
Away, they'll never know what...
palm muted chunky guitar going on. Let's have a listen.
What makes us mainers.
Oh, and the singer has changed. So this is now the voice of an AI singer and not the voice that was on the original demo. So it must be the case that you just choose a male singer and it'll just put a different voice in there. So even if you really liked the original vocal or the original vocalist and his sound, maybe that's something that AI is not going to do, or maybe there is an option to keep the original vocal in there and just put in other elements. I'm not sure, but this really is just a snapshot of what I've answered people when they've said about they've created a song from one of their demos. And for me, as soon as you have to maybe learn your own song, like there's something in the song that you haven't written or you don't know how to do that, I think as a songwriter, something's gone wrong with the process, because the songwriter knows exactly what's in their song. They know exactly the lead lines and where the octaves are, and even what the drums are doing, what the drum patterns are doing, where the snare comes in, whether we're, double time with a hi-hat. There are so many different things that go into writing a song, and a songwriter knows all of the things that are going on. As soon as you have to try and work out your own song, then it means it's not your song. I have heard people say as well, and Jamie says on his channel, that sometimes the creation isn't very good and you get a couple of options. So it will give you a couple of creations, and yeah, one of them might be quite good, one of them might not be quite good. They both might not be quite good. So what happens at that point, you then do it again, and it will give you more creations. And then if you don't like those, you do it again. So it's very much just keeping on with doing what you're doing, and whether you like the result or not. And it might even be changing prompts. So now putting in another prompt, you've got another result that you might like or you might not like. So then you put in a different prompt. So it's very much like a process of elimination. So you're putting in the prompts, almost like asking for a particular image. And then, the image, the person on it has got 6 fingers. So then you write in there, make sure, or realistic hands, or subject has 4 fingers and a thumb, and you have to now change the prompt to get the result you want. But this is all getting the result that you like the sound of, not creating it yourself. So I always see songwriting and making music as the creation yourself. And it might be the case that when you're writing a song, you can't get past the chorus into like the middle eight or the bridge, because you can't think of something at that time that is going to fit. You can think of lots of things, but none of them are right in your head. So you might go for months not being able to find something that fits in there, but then maybe after 4 months you get it and you think, yes, that's what I'm after. And it just took that amount of time, and it just took your creative mind to come up with that. But with AI, you're not making that choice yourself, and you're not coming up with it yourself. You're hearing something and thinking, I like the sound of that, I will take it. It's not you putting it out, it is you taking it in. And that's very much how I see AI. So all of these little things that obviously sound great and sound very professional because of what the AI model's been trained on, it's going to sound really professional, and it's going to sound like people are genuinely good at playing the instruments and genuinely good singers, because they have been fed into the AI model. That's what it is going to sound like. So don't be surprised at the quality, but we will listen on to this AI creation. And even there, we just had a little bit of picking, kind of picking out single notes. Again, that's something that the AI has come up with. Lost track of the day at Old Port, tasting all the flavors. And again, another lead line there. We've got a really low level backing vocal in there, maybe a tiny hint of synth in there, kind of really low down in the mix. But also you can hear, and I've said this about AI creations when I've been asked to say whether a particular channel or artist is AI, you do get this low fidelity sound to it. And that's just what AI sounds like at the moment. The quality is just not going to be there, because it is very much a simulation of sound. It isn't an actual recording of this in a studio, so it's not going to be crisp. And yeah, everything that I've heard from AI has been like this. It's just a little bit kind of blurry around the edges when you're trying to really lock in on a pristine sound. It never seems to be there, apart from the vocal. The vocals have always been pretty good for the most part. I go by the bay and catch a show at Main State Pier. And that little delay of the vocal as well. These are all artistic choices, or they would be artistic choices by the artist in the studio, thinking, I want to have my voice just delayed in there, just repeated. It might even be something that the producer decides to do, because the producer working for the record label, it might be something that he feels like the track needs, but it's all artistic input. And I think when we're talking about collaborations as well, when you're working with another artist or another songwriter, it's always working with another songwriter. You're not saying to them, okay, songwriter, I want a song about this, and it's got to be emotional, it's got to be this, that and the other, and just tell them to go do that, because that's not a collaboration. You've got your ideas that you're giving to the other songwriter, who's giving to you, and it's always a 50-50 thing. And just quickly on the point of putting in prompts, and some of the messages that I get are people saying that the reason the song sounds the way it does is because of the prompts that they put in and the settings that they used. If the song sounded like that purely on the prompts and the settings, it would mean that using exactly the same prompts and exactly the same settings, you would get exactly the same song. But that isn't what happens. So unfortunately, it totally blows that argument out of the water, because AI is randomly generating within parameters that you're setting it, but you can give it a set of parameters twice in a row and it'll give you two totally different songs. So that very much contradicts the point that is being made, that the only reason it sounds like this is because of my talent for writing or my lyrical content, the things that I put into it. That's why it sounds like that. But you can take all of those exact same things, and the people writing these messages to me will know that they can do exactly the same thing they've just done hit generate again, and it will come up with a different song. Yeah, the words will be the same if they've used the same lyrical content, but it's going to be a different song. So it's not really the way that it works. And another thing that I think is really important with the use of AI, but pretty much with all music and anything artistic, if you are going to create something, it's being honest and transparent about the way that you're creating what you have created. And I've done many videos in the past where I've pointed out that people are claiming to have sung this particular song, but it's actually AI and the voice wasn't the person's at all, and all that kind of stuff. So there's that side of it, being honest and open about it, yeah, as Jamie clearly is here. But then there's the other honesty side of it, which is being honest with yourself as to why you are using AI. And I think that some of the people that message me, they don't want to say that the reason they use AI is because they cannot do what AI can give them. Whether that be playing the guitar to a particular standard, they can't play the guitar as well as they are given it by AI. They can't play the drums that well, or bass, or they can't sing that well. So it's something that they don't have the ability to do themselves, so they get AI to kind of fill that gap. And it's exactly the same with songwriting. You know, some people might think, right, I'm stuck on a particular part of my song, I can't come up with anything, so I'm going to use AI to do it for me. And yeah, that's all fine, but it's when people almost deny the fact that that's what's going on, that the reason they're using it is because they can't do it themselves, or they can't think of anything else. They need something else to think of something for them. And I think when everybody's honest about it, you know, with just producing music, that's great, so the audience know what they're listening to. But it's really important to be honest with yourself as well, because the problems come in when people aren't honest with themselves and they get defensive about why they're using AI. And I just took a quick screenshot of Jamie in his tutorial video, just so you guys can see a few of the settings. And here we've got the vocal gender, male, female, lyrics mode, or manual, or auto. So this is where you can put in your own lyrics. But then we've got a slider here that's called weirdness at 50%, style influence 50%, and then audio influence 25%. Now, once we get into this kind of realm of putting something in as a percentage, I don't know. For me, it means it's all a bit random and contradicts what I've just said about people messaging me saying, oh, the only reason it comes up with this is because of what I've done. But keeping these exactly the same, it will come up with different versions of a song, which will sound totally different to each other. And again, taking that thought process even further, you say, right, well, if you had set the weirdness to 51%, what would have been the difference in your song? Would the guitar have played, an F instead of a G? They wouldn't be able to tell you, because it's so vague, being able to put in a percentage of something. Whereas when you are genuinely writing a song, you know exactly how everything goes and what it's going to sound like, because you've written it. You know what it's sounding like because you are writing it as you are doing it. And then once you've finished it, you know how it goes because you have written it. You don't have to wait to hear it to now know what your song goes like. So now what I want to get into is looking at this vocal in detail, because we've got an original vocal that's been fed into AI, and AI has given us this vocal back of a different person's voice, so it's not sounding like the same singer. But let's have a listen to both of them at the same time.
Since they're from away, they'll never know what makes us Mainers.
And you can hear that AI there has changed the vocal melody from the original demo. Have a listen to this.
Know what makes us Mainers.
Mainers. I mean, it's really straight. And when we now go to the generation, Mainers, he goes up to the A3 earlier. So that's a fundamental change in the melody of the song. Now, that didn't exist. So if you're now talking about, as a songwriter and as a vocalist, AI now making your demo into a song that doesn't include the original melody, you think, well, what happens then? And it might be the case that the person who kind of made the song or has given the song to AI, they might prefer this version. And they think, oh, yeah, no, I prefer that change. But again, you're hearing somebody else's song and going, I like that, I'm going to take it. So it wasn't actually created in that way in the first place.
Lost track of the day at Old Port Tasting.
And you can see that, yeah, it has fundamentally changed the vocal. So it isn't the vocal from the demo from a tuning perspective as well. And you can see how these lines aren't replicating each other from left to right, which would happen if it was exactly the same audio and vocal that was fed in.
All the flavors.
Got another change there as well. It's interesting because it's almost like AI. When it's been given a vocal, it said, okay, I've taken that vocal, but I don't like that vocal. I'm giving you this one back. I'm changing your melody. I'm not sure how I'd feel about that as a songwriter. You go, well, no, that's my song. The melody didn't go like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Flavors.
And I'm sure there's a melody change there as well.
Flavors. And all the flavors.
No, the flavors. Let's go back here.
Flavors. For tasting all the flavors.
Flavors. So now, again, exactly the same thing. AI has changed the fundamental melody of the lead vocal. So, yeah, again, I would have thought that it would at least keep the vocal the same. Yeah, maybe make it sound like another person, but making these artistic choices is something that the songwriter should be doing and the singer should be doing. They shouldn't be controlled by AI now telling you how your song goes. Going back to that point that I made earlier, if you're having to figure out how your own song goes, like this, listening to the new melody, then something's gone wrong in the process. It isn't your creation because you would know how the vocal already goes, but this has been, yeah, fundamentally changed.
Hike up by the bay and catch a show at Main State Pier. If you're heading to my town, kid, you can't get there from here.
Now I just wanted to bring in the original because now timing wise we are out of sync where we started perfectly in sync.
Kid, you can't get there from here. We are a fluorescent horizon. I'm taking it in. Sunsets over Casco.
Okay, so what's happened here is the AI creation has got slightly faster leading up into this chorus section, or maybe it's just pre-chorus then getting into chorus, so it's slightly sped it up. Again, that wasn't on the original demo, but that I think is probably more of a trick of the trade, or should I say just what it's learned from. It might have learned that, oh, speeding up a little bit into the chorus is going to make it more excitable. It doesn't know that. It's just picked this up from lots of songs that might have done it, from what it's been fed. So it's just sped up a little bit for the chorus. This is why it sounds all out of sync now. And of course, in order for it to achieve that, it's now done away with that original vocal and has now put this new vocal in with this quicker tempo. Let me listen to what happened there.
The soundtrack to feel.
Yeah, we had this, the soundtrack, and then go up to, what, the G4. What did the AI do here?
Soundtrack to feel. The soundtrack to feel.
Again, it's just gone straight up to the G4. So now this is a fundamental change of the chorus, the main melody of the song has been changed. So yeah, I don't need to kind of talk about this for too long, even though I already have. My point of view is the same that it was before I even checked out this video and just happened to see it by Jamie. And it's a great video because it shows what AI can do, but also from the songwriting perspective, it shows what it changes or what it can change when it's been given a demo. That it is going to be adding in things that weren't written by the songwriter. And whether that still qualifies as then your creation, I don't see it as that. I see it as taking from AI, because if it was your creation, you would already know all of these parts and you wouldn't need to use AI because you already would have the full song. But again, a huge thank you to Jamie for allowing me to jump into one of his videos just to help explain my point of view about things. And I haven't got anything against people that use AI. However they want to use it is totally up to them. If you do want to see what AI can do, then head over to Jamie's channel, because he does tutorials on this and will show you exactly what can be produced. And he has a background as a producer himself, so he can add that insight as well. So you guys can go to that channel to learn more about Suno. Things might be changing in the future though with some of the functions because of the court case, but we'll keep an eye on everything. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and keep those requests for future videos coming to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!